my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me for another one of my videos. So today's video is all about how to channel ideas and inspiration. So many of you guys had requested this video. This is one of the requested videos from you guys. And I thought it was a really interesting topic because loads of you are like, but how do you keep channeling in like ideas, book ideas, merchandise, products, things to do? And I guess I never really put much thought into it. So I really had to kind of sit down and think, okay, like what would I advise for channeling ideas, inspiration, you know, within your own business, within, I don't know if you're like doing your house or renovating your house or something, like how do you just channel everyday inspiration and ideas? So first of all, I definitely think I'm able to be that open channel a lot of the time within my workspace because I commit to it. So commitment, I would say, is like absolutely my number one top tip of the more you commit to yourself, your life's purpose, and also to your spiritual practices, you become an open channel to be able to receive guidance, to be able to receive ideas and downloads regularly. So for me, I don't even think about it. That's why I had to think, how do I do this? Because it's so natural to me now. But the reason why that is natural is because every single day without fail, I get up and do my daily routine. So if you want to know what my daily routine is for my little law of attraction practices, I have done a video previously on that, so go have a look. But I do my gratitude every day. I do womb breathing every day. So I tune in and do a little meditation, and ask what I need to know today. But mainly for me, my ideas and inspiration just normally drop into my head. Like I'll be like, oh, I need to do this, or oh, I want to do something creative, and then it will kind of go from there. So some ideas come to me exactly how they are and I'm like, yes, I need to do that. Some ideas come from more of an urge to be creative and birth something, and then I kind of do a bit of exploration, and then I kind of land on an idea and I'm like, wow, like that's really cool. I didn't realize that was going to come from that. So there are multiple ways that ideas and inspiration can come to you, but like I said, like committing to, you know, if we're talking about your business here or your work, committing to that first in your life's purpose is super important, because the more you're committed and the more you're committed to your own kind of health, happiness and peace and spirituality, you're going to naturally be in a vibration to receive that guidance, receive it. And you know, regardless of ideas and inspiration, like let's just talk about messages or intuition, like it's exactly the same thing. You have to be in that place where you are an open channel and you're open to receiving those ideas and inspirations. So sometimes, like I think definitely when I was starting off, like it would be planting those seeds. I would kind of think like, what would I like to do within my business? So I kind of made a vision board and an action plan of what I would like my business to look like, what things I'd like to do. And I don't think merchandise was ever on it really. I just always presumed that I had to like have a company come to me and say, hey, we'll design all your merchandise and you can sell it. But that's not what happened at all. So obviously I had the inspiration to create a law of attraction calendar 2 years ago now, and I went through and designed that because I do a lot of design work anyway. I do all my own graphics and design work. I've done stuff for other people, so I kind of knew some designy work bits anyway. So designing a calendar was quite simple for me because I was able to do it, and then I simply found a printer for it. So that seemed like quite straightforward to me. So I obviously sold out of the calendars the first year. Second year they sold out. So on the first year I was like, wow, okay, this was quite easy, and it's not like a massive investment. If I'm sensible, like it's not a massive investment, but it's creating a regular income for me, which is really good. So although the calendars were obviously, I think like November to December I sold them, I was like, what else could I do which I could sell throughout the year? And that's when I started to have the downloads of, what would you want to buy, Emma, which isn't out there. And then I realized that there's been so many instances where I've wanted to buy gratitude journals, I've wanted to buy manifestation journals, I've wanted to buy moon journals, I've wanted to buy things law of attraction based or spiritual based, and those things haven't existed. So I was like, well, that's where I come in, because that's your kind of gap in the market. So I kind of noticed a gap in the market and kind of thought, that would be quite cool. I'm really good at designing, so I looked at my strengths. I know how to design stuff. I have the software to be able to do it. The only thing I don't know how to do is to physically make that happen. So once I had designed those products and realized that I could do this and it was actually really simple, it was just finding a printer, it was finding a distributor to be able to manufacture those products. And again, you know, just like with everything, I just did it. I Googled things, I researched things, and eventually came across, you know, really good suppliers that were able to bring my products to life. And then, you know, that's kind of how they've come along. So even now when I have ideas and inspiration, I will just pick up on what people are suggesting or making comments to on my work or anything like that. Or again, it simply will be, I want one of these things and they don't exist, so I'm going to create that. And that's where it's come from. So that's the kind of merchandise side of things. Videos, content, podcasts, that kind of content, i.e. media content, I guess you could call it. I definitely am a lot more relaxed with that. So I do plan my YouTube videos in advance. I have a list and I just write down what video is going to go where. I'm about 2 months ahead of myself, but I just, as soon as like, oh, that would be a really good topic, I simply write it down. So again, a lot of this is organization, but again, it's just having that relaxed attitude of knowing that the content will come to you at the right time. So YouTube, I am a little bit more scheduled with, but equally, when ideas and inspiration hit, I just write it down. And then I know even if it is like 2 months in advance, then that's the perfect time to talk about it. And you know, sometimes I look at my list, I'm like, actually, I really want to speak about that today, so I'll move stuff around. So I think it's just like committing, you know, really getting organized, but also, you know, setting that intention of saying, right, what do people need to know today? And I always like to talk about things that have been kind of prominent in my life, or you know, tests that I've had, or anything which I can kind of relate to, sort of thing. So yeah, sometimes it's more you can vibe into what you feels quite topical for you as well, which you think would help people. So that's the YouTube side of things. Podcasts and blog posts, I'm definitely less organized with. Not in a bad way though. Like, what I want to say is this isn't a lack of organization, this is just pure channeling. So for my blog posts, I do them once a week on my website, and my podcasts I do once a week as well. So 1 week I do a me episode, and then the second week I'll do a guest interview. So twice a month I need to create, or sometimes 3, I need to create a podcast episode where I talk about something. So for me, I just wake up on the day and say, universe, what do I need to talk about today? And always, without fail, it comes to me, always. So some people may think that's like lazy. Some people may like to know what they're doing in advance. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to know what I'm doing in advance. But I think with that type of work, for me personally, that's how I work best, is by just setting that intention and knowing that like a Tuesday is a write blog post day, a Monday is a record podcast day. So on Monday and Tuesday, I know those downloads are kind of going to drop into my head. And because I'm confident of that, and because I trust that, it always happens without fail. So a lot of it is intention, obviously believing, because I've got used to it now. So set those days up, like get organized for sure, like schedule your content if you want to, but also like allow the inspiration to come to you on that day as well. There's nothing wrong with that. So although my YouTube's a bit more structured, my podcast and blog has a lot more flow to it, meaning that I connect to those ideas and inspiration more because I'm flowing with the universe. I'm allowing the universe to say to me, hey, like, we want you to talk about this today, essentially, or what I vibe. Yes, like, I really need to like say something about this, or I really need to write about this. So I always do what I feel really passionate about. So if, for instance, I've had something in my head for a podcast episode, and I have had this before, I've like written notes on my phone, and then on the Monday I've gone to record and I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to record that. I don't feel, it doesn't spark me joy today. I don't feel that's what I want to be talking about today. So, and then I'll just scrap it and do something completely different. But I'll come back to that idea. But what I want to say here is tune into whether it feels in alignment with you, because sometimes when you talk about stuff, and you kind of think, oh, actually I'm not quite vibing this today, it's not going to be your best work anyway. It's not gonna, you know, be the best that it can be, and your passion will be the passion it's meant to be if you are just not feeling it, simply. So honor that for sure. You know, obviously if you're like telling people you're going to talk about stuff, so say for instance you do a post and say, this Wednesday I'm going to do a blog post about such and such, before you've written it, then yeah, you may have to actually do that. So what I would suggest in that instance is like, obviously do it well in advance. I know I do mine quite late in the day, but do yours like well in advance so that you know that it feels right and you've got the content already prepared, so you're able to tell people what this week's post is or what this week's blog post is, etc. So that's kind of how I work in the terms of my online content. Then like business goals and business ideas in general, I think definitely a lot of things just drop in, and like I said, that is simply because I just open myself up to those ideas and inspiration coming, and obviously because I, you know, like my book idea for instance. So my book definitely was, I think a lot of my big ideas are kind of breadcrumb following. So my book for instance, I knew that I wanted to write about law of attraction and spirituality, but I didn't think it would be a half memoir, half kind of advice book on law of attraction and spiritual queen. So that definitely evolved over time, and what I would say is like definitely let your ideas and inspiration evolve. Like there's no rush. Like I learned this. I'm very much someone who is like, as soon as an idea comes to me, it's done. Like it's created, it's done, it's out. Whereas like at the moment I'm really learning to incubate those ideas and really let them naturally evolve and discover what feels good, vibe into what feels good. So especially like I'm actually starting working on my second book right now. So I'm like feeling into that. Like the theme of the book was like not what I thought at all. And again, like with Spiritual Queen, my first book, you know, I didn't think that was what it was going to be when I first started writing it, well, a year and a half before it came out. So really it is a case of just following those little like inspirational breadcrumbs of, oh, I'd quite like to do this. So explore it. The best way to do it is like, sometimes the full idea is not going to come to you in one hit. Like that's what I want to stress here. It will be a breadcrumb trail of little ideas and inspiration and maybe passion of what, oh yeah, I'd really love to do this, or oh, this would feel good to do that. And then you follow it, you explore it, you investigate it, and then it will evolve a bit and it might change a bit. And then you kind of work along that rather than, you know, like Spiritual Queen, the book did not come to me in August 2017. That was just more of an idea of a book. And when I started writing and started exploring, it then got its structure. It then became its framework of the book it is today. So you don't have to know it all at once. That's what I want to say. Like you don't have to know it all at once. And especially with books, like that's my biggest piece of advice. So with my second book, yeah, I definitely like, I had all these ideas. Like I've basically got about 3-4 book ideas. Which have come to me like just randomly, and they always come like not necessarily merchandise and stuff, but the book ideas specifically, I guess maybe it's just how I work, have come to me when I've not been looking for it, when I've totally switched off, allowed myself to relax, when I'm not in creating mode, when I'm in chilled mode, and I'm just really kind of maybe doing a bit of inner work as well, like retreating a bit and doing a bit of inner work. And then when I wasn't even like focusing on that all these ideas came to me, and I was like, whoa, I thought I was meant to be retreating. I thought I was meant to be hibernating, and you're giving me inspiration. So all I did was like write it all down, write down all the ideas, store it away. And then when it felt time to go and look at those, that's what I did. And then kind of explored into each idea and vibed into what felt good. And then I guess that's like the focus of my work as well. So a few like, well, the Emma the lady, the psychic who was at my book launch told me what my second book would be about, and I was like, no, like what are you on about? No. And then it just kind of stuck with me after that, and then I was like, no, it's not, no, definitely not. And then yeah, a month or so passed, and then my work started, and like more and more people were telling me to start talking about this, and I was like, no, definitely not. Like, okay, if I want to cover it in my work, that's fine, but yeah, that's not my book idea. And then literally it just started evolving and evolving and evolving until a certain point, and I was like, yeah, I think this book's gonna be about this. Okay, great, yeah, thanks universe. So it just proves that sometimes the universe has like a greater plan even if we don't want to do it. And I'm not saying like it's something I don't want to do. Like, I love this topic, but I didn't think I'd be writing about it, put it that way. Like, I was like, are you sure? Like, I thought that wasn't the direction I was going in, but hey, so I'm trusting that at the moment. Like, who's to say? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've literally just started writing an introduction and kind of getting the proposal together to pitch to publishers again and stuff. So do you know what? Like, that idea could completely change. I could wake up tomorrow and the universe is like, nope, okay, scrap that idea, next. So I'm just trusting that. Like, I'm not holding on to that idea. I'm not holding on to that book as such, because do you know what I mean? Even if I don't do it as my second book, I could do it as my third or fourth. So I'm open to it. So being open to that inspiration is really important, because you allow the universe to channel through what you need to know. So instead of controlling it and being like, well, this is what I think, like, just be open to it. Like I was with the book 2 idea, like just be open and just follow the breadcrumbs a bit, explore it, evolve it, incubate the idea, and let it kind of naturally flourish. And then you will have a sense of when to action things. I have this all the time. Sometimes it's a straight away action of yes, do this now. Sometimes it's a no, let it grow a bit for a couple of weeks, see how you feel, and then one day I'll wake up and be like, yes, put it out. And then book ideas, for instance, books. So it's March at the moment, and I've had this idea since February, and I haven't really felt like, I know what Emma is like myself. I'm like, work, get it all done, and you know, by now I probably would have had half the book written, but I've done nothing. I've literally written an introduction and started to play around with the proposal, just because I wanted to let it naturally flourish. And I know I'm not a lazy person. I know I am like the queen of productivity. So I know that it's just not right, and when I kind of vibe into things, I feel that I need to start writing June onwards, and then August I feel is when I'm heavily gonna start writing. So there's no rush. I need to like establish it and feel into it, and that's the beauty of the universe. Like, trust those timings, trust those vibes you have, because normally Emma would not listen to that timing of like, wait till the summer. I'd be writing that book now, but it just, I know that the words aren't there yet. Like, I need to vibe into it more, and I need to learn more as well. I think like definitely before you go into writing a book, like you kind of learn a lot, and then you're like, right, now I can talk about this. So for me, I'm actually relearning some things and learning more things to be able to incorporate into the book. So for me, I'm like, this is my establishing stage where I'm like establishing things and growing the idea and growing into it. So there are different types of ideas and inspiration you can have. Sometimes you can action it that day. Sometimes it may take you a month. Sometimes it may take you a year, but trust that timing, because the universe is preparing you for it. The universe knows when you're meant to be doing stuff. You will naturally feel drawn to it. Like, you know, January and February this year, I was like not motivated whatsoever to think about book 2 or even really birth a lot in my work. I'd done so much the last 18 months. I was like, just chill. Enjoy book 1 coming out, enjoy it, and just take a rest, take a breather. And I really appreciated that, because in those times of resting and doing nothing, all these ideas and inspiration came to me, and I was like, what? Like, where did this come from? So I then incubated those ideas, like wrote everything down so I didn't forget any ideas, and then what I do after that is I have like a yearly plan. So month by month I schedule in what I want to focus on, what I want to work on, so I haven't got 20 different ideas in my head spinning around and I don't know which one to focus on. So I kind of vibe into stuff. So for instance, I was going to do a monthly membership, and I had that scheduled in for April, which will obviously be next week. And now I'm like, no, end of the year. So, and I'm still not sure I'm even going to do that. Like, so it's okay to like move things back. So like each month I will just like schedule in like, right, focus on this month, design this month, send it to production this month, plan the retreat, do this. So obviously like the retreat came to me and stuff as well, which I'm really excited about, to be doing another event, which I'm super pumped about. And that was such a nice download, because I was like, really, you want me to do a wellness retreat? Okay, I'll give it a go. And I really enjoyed the process of it. So yeah, I think definitely like the more you commit to your work and the more you just set the intention of ideas and inspiration flowing to you, and really like not forcing yourself, allowing the ideas to come to you in the perfect time is the best way to be. So, you know, if you're talking about online content, like I said, like I literally sometimes wake up that day and I'm like, what do I need to talk about that day? And the inspiration will come to me. Sometimes it's about just having that openness of not necessarily controlling what you think needs to go out. I mean, sometimes I have those big urges where I'm like, I really need to talk about this, and that's how I know that's my sign. But if you're not really feeling that or feel a big urge to something, just open up to it. And the more you practice it and the more you commit to kind of working for the universe and saying like, you know, right, this is what I want to do, this is my goals and achievements, like help me to get there. When you ask for that help and support, the support's always going to come, the help's always going to come. So instead of like gripping on so tightly to how I thought my business model would look or what I thought I would be doing, I'm doing stuff I never even thought I would be doing. I didn't know I'd have oracle cards, especially produced by myself. I always thought, well, you had to have a publisher for that. You know, all my merchandise products are, you know, I've created and designed and well, I haven't made them myself, I wish I did, but you know what I mean, I've sent them to the printers and stuff. So I've had a massive say over everything, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's been the best thing ever because you're cutting out a middleman, like more profit, just saying. So sometimes doing stuff like yourself is not a bad thing, and I've learned this throughout my whole entire life where people have told me I can't do stuff and then I just go and do it anyway. And for me, that has been so vital because it's taught me so many new skills, so many new you know, so many new things, like, and if all was to fail here, which I know it's not, but if it was, like, I know that I could go and consult people now on how to do these things. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, the knowledge and, you know, skills that you pick up along the way are super important as well. So definitely like set your intentions for bringing this inspiration and downloads to you, and don't ignore things that do come to you. If you suddenly have a download and you're like, oh, why would I be doing that? What are you on about? Still write it down. Write that idea down, explore it a little bit and see how you vibe into it. Some things you may not vibe into, some things you may, but at a certain point you could think, right, now's the time to do that. So allow the perfect time to come through. Don't think you have to work on an idea as soon as it comes to you. Sometimes incubating it and just like, and I actually suggested to Selena the other day this of, I have like a little incubation thing where I put my ideas. So although I have my laptop where I have a document where everything's written down, also I have like a physical kind of manifestation box where I put all my ideas in and let my angels look after them. So I suggested Selena do this as well because I said, sometimes when you have all these ideas, you don't know what to focus on. So I said, pick out an idea once a month and see if you vibe with it. You know, obviously I've done that as my strategy plan. I've done that on my laptop. So I've got a very virtual way of doing it. But for Selena, I think it helps her to have like a physical kind of pot she can pick these ideas out of. So I said, like, put all your ideas into this pot and then each month pull them out and see what vibes with you, and just focus on one. Just focus on one. Like, it's one step at a time here. You can't do it all. Like, one step at a time, and when something's done well, it, you know, it will be well received as well. So you don't just want to rush something out and it doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel in alignment. Like, it's got to feel good for you. It's got to feel good for your brand, and it's got to feel time as well. Like, trust that divine timing. So be open to it. Try the little pot idea if you think that will help you. And like I said, schedule all these ideas into each month of the year and see how you vibe them. And content wise, you know, you can just say, universe, what do people need to hear today? What do I need to share with people? So I hope this video has helped you guys. And yeah, it's just keep being open to receiving and taking note and incubating ideas as well. It's all about intention, a lot of it, and committing to yourself and your business and showing up so the universe can show up for you as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget you can join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook. The link is down below. Don't forget to leave me a comment because I reply to them all, and I will see you in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.